Thank you all for watching these great little vignettes, and most importantly, thank you for sharing them with your friends. We've had some wonderful comments and some great suggestions, and one that comes back over and over again is, show us more steam engines. Well, it just so happens that the Lake Superior Railroad Museum has a plethora of all sizes and shapes of steam locomotives from the golden age of railroading. This is one of them, the 332. It's the 332, it's the 28, but let's go back to its original roots. It was built in 1906 by the Elko locomotive factory, and it came to the Duluth, Missabe, and Northern Railway. It's a consolidated, a 280, and that meant it was made for freight, which means it had smaller wheels but higher tractive effort, and it was made not for speed, but to haul long and heavy drags. The transition from steam to diesel was in full swing in the mid-1950s, and even on railroads like the DM and IR, they were buying diesel locomotives and shelving their steam engines. The number 332 in 1955 was sold to the Duluth and Northeastern Railway, and there it became their number 28. That was in Cloquet, working for the then paper mill owned by Potlatch Corporation. They, of course, used it to haul not iron ore, but logs to and from their paper mill in Cloquet. She was one of the last working steam locomotives on a common carrier anywhere in Minnesota, if not the entire United States of America. But in 1974, there was no more use for a steam locomotive anywhere on the Duluth and Northeastern. So they decided to donate it to the then newly formed Lake Superior Railroad Museum. In 1974, they cleaned it up, brought it down here, and it stayed in the museum for decades. In 2011, Bob Purcell was general manager for the Cloquet Terminal Railway. That's what they changed the name of the Duluth and Northeastern to. It was still in Cloquet, still serving the paper mill, and Bob was general manager of the Cloquet Terminal. And he had a plan to keep his crew busy over the winter on a project of some kind. And he came to the museum with the idea of doing a cosmetic restoration on their old number 28. Once it got in the roundhouse at Cloquet and the engine house, they started working on it. Started doing the cosmetic restoration, taking everything off, painting it, cleaning it, putting it back together. They got to know that engine inside and out. And guess what they found? It was perfect. Not just for a cosmetic restoration, but a full restoration to be able to run again, to become alive and puff steam and pull trains. That's exactly what it was going to do. And that was decided. And then we needed to move the engine down to our shop here in Duluth to do that kind of work. Again, BNSF, thank you very much. Sappy Paper, thank you very much for what you did to get it to this point. And thank you for all our volunteers who then spent the next couple of years working on the engine, replacing the boiler tubes, taking off the asbestos sheeting and putting on a new form of insulation, building a whole new boiler jacket. A.W. Kettle & Sons, thank you for that. Everybody contributed. And that was the big day, all ready to steam up for the first time. Can you imagine the excitement? Fire in the boiler, coal shoveled in, steam pressure rising. Would it work? Would it start? Would the utilities begin? Would the air pump start to bleed life into the entire engine? Would it all work just as we had hoped? And here you see the proof. The engine runs on the rails under its own power for the first time since it was sidelined back in the 1970s and put in the museum. This video here, by the way, is the very first steam-up test run in April of 2017. So now the engine's a full-scale working locomotive. It's alive, it breathes, it pulsates. Steam is something special that just everyone can kind of look at and go, wow, that's really cool. And there's only about 150 working steam locomotives licensed by the Federal Railroad Administration and the Canadian government to operate anywhere in North America. Only 150, and this is one of them. Wouldn't you like to see her out on the road? Here's some great shots. We changed the number from 28 to 332 for some photo opportunities to highlight the history of the Duluth, Missabe, and Iron Range Railway. So she operates as the 332, and she still pulls trains every summer on the North Shore Scenic Railroad. Well, we couldn't resist taking up in the cab of a working steam locomotive like the 332. Here you've got the throttle, you've got the brakes just like you would in a diesel. Let's see what's different. Oh, how about the boiler? There's where you put the coal, there's where the water is behind this sheet, and there, of course, is the steam that's made to run the locomotive. Something else that might be a little different than a diesel would be, of course, this here. Not a horn, but a real steam whistle. So what does all this come to? What is the final bottom line of all this? What's the takeaway? Well, this is a wonderful steam locomotive. We have so many people to thank, from our volunteers to Bob Purcell to Sappy Paper to BNSF to A.W. Kettle and Sons, and don't forget our volunteers, of course. I already mentioned them once, but they deserve 2 or 3 mentions. Also, it takes donors, and we had some great ones. This little project cost $750,000, and we were lucky. Most steam restorations of an engine this size are over $1 million. But again, thanks to the volunteers, we were able to get in under that $1 million mark. But still, $750,000. Thank you for your support of these videos. We'll have another one for you tomorrow. In the meantime, what can you do today? Well, you can wash your hands, cover your mouth, stay away from strangers, keep your social distance. If you're sick, stay home. And most importantly, as always, let's take care of each other.